Welcome back to the Beat the Odds Horse Racing Show. What an opening weekend it was from Saratoga. You had the Belmont Oaks, you had the Suburban, and the Belmont Derby. All of them were pretty much won on the lead. Kensington Lane won the Belmont Oaks, going wire to wire. Kendrick Carmouche went out and just stole the race and still was able to power on home down the lane in the Suburban, and Title Roll was able to hold off the Americans in the Belmont Derby. Thank you to our friends over at SeatGeek for sponsoring today's episode. SeatGeek is the #1 ticketing app for any live events, sporting events on the market. All you have to do is put in your location and it shows you everything in your area. So go check it out. MLB season is just kicking off. NBA playoffs are around the corner. Or just go see your favorite band or person in concert. Go check it out. Download the app. Use code BTO Horse Racing at checkout. And make sure you look for that little green dot. That lets you know you're getting a great deal on your tickets. Use code BTO Horse Racing at checkout.
Yeah, it was some great racing this past Saturday and on Friday as well. Saratoga lived up to it. You know, everybody was talking about the heat, you know, but they wound up getting through the card, no issues. Just had that one spill in that race with Dave Portnoy's horse went down pretty bad, and Paco got suspended today for that ride. You know,
30 days.
It's a judgment call. You know, it's horse race, it's horse ride. You know, but other than that, you know, total disappointment from Justin Loof. You know, I pushed her last week. Very keen inside. I told you Kensington Lane was the speed of the race. I knew she was aggressive. I went back and watched the replays. I thought there would be a little more pressure in the race. Mm-hmm. You know, hindsight's always 20/20. She got out, walking dogs. And I will tell you, I feel like Justin Loof bled in that race because that's the worst race she's ran in her career. And she was so keen. And I was telling my son when watching the race, I was like, man, he's holding her back. You know, he's holding back and something's going to happen here. You got to let a horse get a breather, let her run a little bit. But, you know, it is what it is. But tip your hat to Phileas Fogg, man. Like I said last week, I had him on that 4th of July. I faded him, went back in the aquarium. He stumbled out the gate, didn't pick his feet up. But you got to tip your hat to KC, Kendrick Camus, Louisiana Lightning. He ran him off their feet. Boy, that horse, he had a ton of horse down the lane.
He did. And he looked like he was getting faster and faster toward the wire. And I love when he stood up and he raised that whip. That was a pretty damn cool
awesome.
photo. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. All right. This week, we got the Indiana Derby, the Iowa Derby, and two stakes races from Saratoga. We're not touching the Iowa. I just don't like the card. So we're going to focus off with the Indiana Oaks and Derby. I'm on results. Let's go to entries. In the Grade 3 Indiana Oaks, we got a field of 6 in here, with the favorite being Prom Queen coming out of the Kentucky Oaks. New owners, still with Brad Cox. I ran aboard. You have Mizumi for Bob Baffert in here. Betty's Pearl for Brian Lynch. Maximum Offer. Those 4 on the outside are your main contenders. In here, Star Actress and Nala round out the field.
It's a solid field. I mean, for the Indiana Oaks, I got to tip my hat. My buddy's the president up there, Eric Holstrom. They, got a nice card for the Oaks and, the Indiana Derby and the prior races of that. It's a solid field. Prom Queen is going to be your big favorite. She'll never be 9-5 in the gate. She'll be 3-5 or less. Baffert's going to take a little bit of money. Speaking of Baffert, it's so funny to this day and age to see Baffert running horses at Ellis Park, running horses at Iowa, because Desert Gate Scratch, he's going to be in the Iowa Derby up at Prairie Meadows. And now you have his horses here at Indiana Downs. And, before he was through and through West Coast to the core, maybe we ship out to Monmouth Park or Saratoga. But, man, it's so odd pulling up past performances for Ellis Park, seeing Bob Baffert run these horses. And I'll say one thing, and I'll save it for the scratch and claim issue. But he said today it looks like Nysos is training well, doing well. So it looks like Nysos might show up at the Whitney and or back out to Pacific Classic. But in this race here, it's a tough race. It's a field of 6. I'm gonna go with the now horse. I like Betty's Pearl for Brian Lynch. She's in form. She's running great. I don't think she's topped out yet, but the horse to beat's Prom Queen.
I agree, and she's my pick as well. 5 starts this year, 2 wins, 2 seconds. She's consistent. She's coming off a nice win at Churchill Downs. If she can improve a little bit off that effort, I think she could be right there at the wire with Prom Queen.
I agree with you, buddy.
All right, that makes that easy. The Indiana Derby, you got another nice field in here. You got 9 horses in here, but with Desert Gate going to the other race, there will be 8. So that leaves the favorites going to be the Brad Cox horse, Leading Change. What do you think about this race?
It's a very weak field. Leading Change is the Twitter horse, the horse racing forum horse. Everybody loves this horse. He's the next big horse. They even have one expert out there, comical, say he could be a Breeders' Cup Championship contender. And this horse has ran one time, hasn't ran around 2 turns. If he is what they say he is, he's drawing outside posts. He'll let everybody break. If nobody wants to lead, then he'll have the Brad Cox, super jet fuel. He can go out and hold on. But I'm totally past the race. I'm not going to bet the race, but I'm going to be rooting for Creole Chrome, Louisiana bred. He was actually bred by a gentleman I know up in Wiggins, Mississippi, Mr. Battier. And he's a good old guy. I know him personally. But, Creole Chrome's a tough horse, and Joe Sharp's got some good jet fuel, too. So, you're going to have 2 super feeds, and we'll see what happens down the lane.
I agree. Creole Chrome, he did his damage at the fairgrounds. I'm going to go with the Phil D'Amato horse, Out of the Woods, in here, and let's hope for a little bit of an upset. Hope Leading Change bounces off that effort in the second start, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, Leading Change, he'll be at best 8-5. He would have never been 5-1 either, even if Desert Gate would have been in here. They probably would have been both 2-1 at least. But this horse has got a lot of hype before the Derby. People have big future wagers on him. I will tune in and watch the race. So let's see. Let's move on to the next one, buddy.
Absolutely. All right. Out at Saratoga, you have 2 stakes races. Race 5 is the Grade 2 Caress. For the fillies and mares, going 5.5 on the turf. And I'm very surprised we only have a field of 6 in here.
Yeah, it's shocking, man. I mean, in the following stakes race, we only got 7 horses, for the Spy. That's crazy. It's a solid field. You can make a case for many of them in here. I backed Italian Soiree last time out at 18-1, ran second. That was on Belmont Stakes weekend. A lot of speed in this race. Man, I'm sticking with Italian Soiree.
I like it. I'm going to go with Zetlos in here. You said the speed. We could drop back. Hopefully we don't get too far disconnected and make a run around the turn. I love the curling. I love the connections on the grass. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, she's ran big. She ran big at Pimlico. Last time she was kind of up against it at Churchill Downs. I can't knock you on Zetlos. Zetlos, she's a hell of a filly.
She is. She tries every time. She always flying, picking up the pieces. The Bowling Green, race 10 is a Grade 2, like we were talking about. A mile and 3/8. You have 7 horses in here, 3 main track onlys, but the weather at this time is supposed to be beautiful, so we're not going to even look at them. But if it does take a turn for the worse, Yo Daddy's in form and will be the heavy favorite. But you got a field of 7 and a horse coming in overseas. Fort George is going to be the favorite, or is vying for favoritism 9-5, and Minaret is 2-1 on the morning line.
Yeah, I'm going into a different direction. I'm a back a local horse. It's always been a tough, gutsy horse. Likes to win. This coming off a little layoff. I'm back in Carson's Run at 10-1. This horse loves this track at Saratoga. Loves these weeds. He's got 5 career wins. 2 of them have been over this track. Looks like to me Joel fits him well. He's a hell of a horse. I think he makes a big run. I think he can upset this little short field.
I love that, and I'm very surprised to see that horse at 10-1 on the morning line. I don't think you'll get that high with only 7 horses being in the race, but that's a mind-boggling morning line to me. I'm going to go, once again, I'm kind of chalky this week. I'm going with Minaret Station.
Oh, William Walden, doubles.
Yep.
He's lost the Lagos the last 2 races, so he's not facing Lagos this time. So I guess that's why he's listed at 2-1. Got those big buyer numbers, and third race off the layoff, he should be finishing strong.
Yep, we'll see what we can get on him. I'm getting away from that horse that I sold, and he proved me damn wrong. And so let's get away from him and see what we can do. So that's all the action this week, the major action around the country. Let's get into the claim box. I'll start, and I'm probably everybody in horse racing would agree with me, but I'm buying Saratoga. That all minus that spill. I loved everything about that 4th of July being at Saratoga, watching races on America's birthday at the oldest racetrack in the country. I'm buying Saratoga. That was so cool. I know next year it won't be that way. It'll be back at the new Belmont. But damn, 4th of July at Saratoga just hit different to me.
Man, I agree with you 100%. Tip your hat to them. It gave you a different type of vibe, especially all the patronize they do and all the little bits they do between the races. Mm-hmm. Different people coming out doing different montages, different songs. It was awesome. I enjoyed it. It had, like I said, had a great vibe. But man, what I'm going to do is this. A lot of people might get aggravated, and I still hear people talk about this. But I'm going to tell you right now, there ain't nobody on the West Coast. I don't care what anybody says. Any of these horses ship out except Nisos, but he's stable now in Kentucky. I'll tip my hat to Nisos. If he don't ship Nisos back to California and steal that money, shame on him to go face all the big boys in Whitney. Man, I keep hearing California this, that crop of horses out there, it's garbage. I mean, there ain't no looking forward still. He going out there and wired them, and he coming back and ran up the track.
Yep.
California's done. Put a fork in them like a burnt steak, baby.
And that's terrible. I mean, they used to be the premier racing. The way that circuit is just going down, it's horrible to see.
Like I told you last week, man, I cut my teeth in that circuit. Hollywood Park, Del Mar, late in the afternoons. They didn't start running at 4 p.m. Central. I'd be home for race 3 or 4. I'll peak at Del Mar here or there now. But, man, there is no good handicap horses out there. The majority of the big-time trainers have left that circuit. They're in Kentucky. It's not what it is. It's done. It's on a decline. The only person out there that I respect that's a trainer is Double M, Michael McCarthy. I think he's a legitimate trainer. I think I've listened to the man. He's a wholesome human being as well. I'll tip my hat to him. But other than that, man, that place is becoming it's becoming a deluge.
Got no problem with that. I fully back that, and I'll be on your side 100%. It's bad.
Yeah, another thing I want to tell you that I read today, I don't know if you've seen it yet, but like I stated the week podcast after the Belmont, I told you how bad that Crew Velocity had kidney sweat running down. I mean, running down. I've never seen a horse with this much kidney sweat in my entire 30 years of handicapping horses since 1996. It was running down his hocks. It was all the way down to his hooves. When he comes out today, he's passing a Haskell. The horse ain't came back. I knew something was wrong with that horse that day. So he's going to freshen him up. We'll see where he winds up at. Probably the Pennsylvania Derby. He likes to go steal that $1 million purse out there. But I knew that day. I told my buddies that day when we were all together in bed. I was like, man, this horse ain't going to pick his feet up today. I've never seen a horse with this much kidney sweat. Like I said, in my 30-year career.
You're right. I mean, the news came out today, and he was going to be heavily bet. It's going to add on to Baffert's record there, and now he's passing. So the horse obviously did not come out of that race as good as he hoped, and Kenny picked up on it from before they even went in the gate.
Yes, sir.
All right, let's get into the horse of the week. Who will we betting this week, Kenny?
Man, we got to step it up. Like I said before, call a spade a spade.
Yeah.
We had Celtic Mo. He ran third at 20-1 last week. Just Aloof, boo, 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 boo. Man, I mean, what a disappointment. That 100 across I had on her, man, that was very disappointing. I had a feeling she wasn't super live, and she was such a huge price. Don't know. I will say I will follow and see what happens. See how quick she comes back on the work tab. And/or where she shows up at. But I'm going to give y'all a late night selection. Get y'all your favorite adult beverage, your daddy sodas, whatever y'all want to get into. And you're going to have a race at Prairie Meadows. Race 8, Michael McCarthy. I just spoke about Michael McCarthy. I like the number 1 horse, Bullet, in race 8. I'm telling you, he should have won on Derby Day. He came back after that, kind of bounced off that huge effort. He must be doing well for Double M to send him out to the Cornhusker State. Let's all back race 8, Bullard at 5-1.
Let's do it. Fire it in. What an episode. What a week we have coming up. Thank you all for listening. The support has been great for the first couple episodes. Let's keep it going. Tell your friends that this is the best up-and-coming podcast in horse racing. Let them know. Like, comment, and subscribe. And Kenny, what you got? You look like you got to say something.
Yeah, man, I'm going to show up. Whoever listens to the end, this is a surprise for them all tonight. Mm-hmm. This is a shocker moment. So anybody listening to the end of the podcast, first and foremost, we appreciate everybody tuning in every week. We want to grow this, so we're going to do the best we can to grow it. But if anyone is listening to the end, if you email me, FBwinners at AOL.com. That's FBWINNERS at AOL.com. I will send you my free spot play report for Saturday at Saratoga and the other stake races in Indiana and Prairie Meadows as well. Once again, just email me, no strings attached. I'm going to forward you over the report. It's a PDF report, and you'll learn something. I write up a great detailed analysis. So I hope you all listen and take advantage of this free offer.
There you go. What a way to end it. He just dropped a bomb on y'all. Y'all take full advantage of that. The best spot plays in the game. Y'all take care, and let's have a great weekend at the windows.